let's get started.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I have like a PowerPoint, but like, I mean, the other guy, I don't know if he's gonna come on, but like, I mean, I could kind of just tailor it towards specifically what you really want to know or what you're having issues with. Because I mean, it's a pretty immense program. So, like I said,
Yep.
you could talk about it for forever. So it's just kind of like what is it that you're having issues with the software, or what is it that you really want to understand as far as like how it having to use.
I guess it's really the MIDI functions within it. I primarily use it because it's very good at audio recording,
Yeah,
and so my aim will be eventually to record my voice and record the keyboard or the ukulele, which I play.
yeah,
But the thing is, to have just a basic MIDI accompaniment drawing in the notes, um, I seem to get confused with where the bar starts,
yeah,
and simple, really simple things like how to draw a note on beat one and then another note on beat two and then another note on the end of three, for example.
yeah. I mean, I could show you some stuff like that, but
Yeah,
as far as with Pro Tools, I definitely don't take advantage of the MIDI functions that's in there. I actually use Logic for all.
yeah, I know, and I have learnt a bit of Logic before, and
Yeah,
I found it easier for MIDI. It's just that if I'm recording my tracks, my audio tracks in Pro Tools, then which do I sort of put them into? Do you see what I mean?
yeah. I mean, really, with me, it's kind of really dealing with the client, and with me, kind of really whatever I feel like. So if I'm working on a project in Pro Tools, I kind of stick to Pro Tools. But if I'm
Yeah, exactly. And therefore, if I'm recording most of the audio in Pro Tools, I want to use a little bit of MIDI, say, then I'm kind of stuck because I don't know where to put it and, that sort of thing.
I
And
could a little
yeah,
with it, but I would definitely say I'm not the best with MIDI and Pro Tools because I definitely tried to mess with it, and I was kind of having some troubles trying to really get it to do
yeah,
what I really want
it,
it to do, because it's like it wouldn't quantize right, and then it
that's right.
was just, I don't know, it was kind of frustrating, but
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely, I could definitely load something up. Let's see, let me load up a session over here. uh I had a little Pro Tools 101, but definitely, I would say all the stuff that's in Pro Tools, you could really take advantage of it. Cause like, what are you trying to use? Are you trying to use like the synths that are in there, or are you just trying to like, just programs, just some general MIDI?
Um, oh, well, I mean, I suppose uh, I have some MIDI piano that goes with my songs, for example.
Yeah,
And I mean, I suppose the only instrument that is immediately accessible is Mini Grand.
yeah. I mean, they have expand. I mean, they have
Yes.
things straight out the box that are pretty, sufficient. Here, let me actually.
Yeah. I've installed Air Instruments and Expand too.
Yeah, hold up. Let me share my screen. Okay, so here, and like I say, once you load them in, you could pretty much like load whatever type of track you want, and just kind of you know go in. So as far as like with the instrument tracks, I believe,
Yeah,
yeah, and then just say you have them. Let me load back this.
sure.
But then, like I was saying, like you just kind of go to the actual inserts, and then like the stuff that I kind of have right in here. Like, do you use Contact
Um,
or as third party from Native Instruments?
do I probably should because I was quite shocked by how few. instruments I got with just air instruments and expand two.
because a
There
lot.
weren't very many.
Because if you said you're playing a ukulele, I would believe that would be, like you're really looking for more, realistic sounds. And I would say Contact kind of has a wider variety. I mean, I'll load it up, but like I said, it's really more of, what specific sounds you're looking for. A lot of the sounds that are exactly in the Pro Tools, they're kind of tailored more towards, electronic stuff, you know.
Okay.
That's why I say dealing with Logic is I mean, they're all the same. It's really more your preference, but they're kind of more tailored towards like film scoring. So a lot of their like stock sounds are really, what they need to be. I don't know why my contact isn't loading. Oh, there it is. But
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think I'll have to look at buying contacts to go with it. I think.
I mean, I believe you could get like a contact player that actually plays like some of the sounds. Let's see. But it's really like I said, just really knowing these are like the basic ones that come with it. So I could just kind of play something. And I'm trying to see if my sound is actually muted. Can y'all hear that?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you know, these are, like a woodwind sound. Like, I mean, and I'm not really trying to like make nothing that's gonna be like, like wow. But like, so the way I kind of do it is basically you would kind of just set your tempo and all that, but you kind of got to go into like the transport and just set everything as far as like with your count off and all that. So everything will kind of, start at the same, So if you have 4 bars or, 3 bars or whatever for it to count off, it'll basically like, click before it actually does it. And once you have
At the beginning.
yeah, and once you have that set up, obviously you need to make a click track as well. I don't know if you do that when you're doing it, but
Uh, I have done it, but a long time ago.
say you just create a click track. So now whatever tempo you have is synchronized to. So say I just switch. You all see my Pro Tools screen, right? Say I
Yeah.
say I switch the tempo to just 100. I don't know,
Okay.
but now if I hit play, now it's actually doing that. But then I kind of go up here, you know, set my bars again. I'm just gonna play something. I don't know if it's gonna sound good or what, but like I say, I really kind of want to show you the stuff that you have. So I just kind of make a little phrase with this that I could layer something to. So yeah, let's just see. Oh, my keys didn't go down all the way, but I don't know. But say I like that. The problem with the MIDI, it just re-recorded over my first bar, so I kind of don't like that. But this is kind of the way you like get the stuff in. But as far as like the quantizing and all that stuff, like you kind of got to go into the to the functions. And like I said, I'm not really the best with that because I haven't made beats in Pro Tools, but I think it's in the event. Yeah. So here, say I hit quantize. Obviously,
Okay.
of them, are like 1/16th, and once you hit apply, you should
Yep.
you should see them actually like move a little, move over a little bit and kind of let's see.
Onto the beat.
Yeah. So you should see them like. I mean, I don't like that first half, so I could kind of get rid of that, and just kind of like bring this back. I mean, and I'm not expecting this to be like the greatest. It didn't even do it the way I wanted it. But say just duplicate that. Let me switch this out of here because and I kind of could go over a lot of the functions and features. I don't know if you all are familiar with a lot of like I said, the actual tools and all the stuff that, that you could use to work around Pro Tools.
Some of them.
Yeah. So here,
I know.
all right, let's just play this real quick. I mean, okay, it's not even synced up like perfect. Yeah, that's actually. So as far as like with the grid, because I think I was on the slip. Because as far as like to kind of go back, and really most of this stuff will kind of be more relevant to like audio. But like if you look, let me move that. If you look, you see it's over just a smidge, and they're actually not like on. So you probably would kind of have to go in into like here and like kind of like you could like manually, like edit them and like kind of select everything and kind of take it, to where you want it to go, like kind of nudge it over a little bit.
Yeah.
But then kind of going back to here, what I was saying with this. So say I would get rid of this one. Like if you look, you see it's just that little extra that's hanging over there. So you just want to get rid of that, and then you could actually make your copy, and it'll be Command D. You
I
know.
can only see your mix window. I can't see your edit window.
Okay, let's see. Let me get rid
I
of that.
don't know if that's on a different screen.
Bam. Let's see. Can you see it now? Or
No, just the mix window with the different instruments. I still can't see the edit window.
hold on. Let's see. Oh yeah, it says mix, so it should be cool now. So
Oh yeah, I can now.
yeah, so what I was saying. So now it should kind of be a little bit on,
Yep.
just to kind of, go back into the other actual, sounds. Because like I said, you could kind of go. That click is irritating. But it's like, really, it's really all in your sound. So like I was saying, the like if I really want something synthy, that's really kind of what the sounds that Pro Tools already have in here. So I guess if I go to instruments, I'm trying to think what Pro Tools has specifically. Like
Not very much.
the grand and I believe structure.
Yeah, structure free, I think it's got.
At the end of the day, like, structure is more. And I might not even have stuff loaded in these because I definitely don't use these. But like it's just really more. Let me stop this. It's really just more, like I said, more synthesis, to where it's like you're kind of like creating the sound from nothing. So
Okay.
it might be a regular sine wave. So now once you can obviously go to the browser. I don't even know if I have sounds programmed in here. So you could kind of just go to the browser and kind of like, if I really wanted to make this like a super bassier, you could kind of like drop it maybe an octave or something to kind of get it, like a fat low sound.
Uh-huh.
Kind of just really messing around with the actual the different types of waves. I'm trying to see what sounds they have in here. But like this pretty much has, like I said, a lot of like more synthier sound.
Uh-huh.
But like if you really wanted to, like I said, if you like that one, you kind of just record right in and kind of do the same process with the other one. As far as like, hold on, let me stop it. You gotta unmute the click, you know. I don't know. But like it's just really, like I said, really once you kind of get the feel for the MIDI, and kind of just like more so like quantize it and just kind of get it on to the beat as far as like within here within the piano roll. Can you see the piano roll screen or no?
Yes.
So as far as with this piano roll, like I said, you would just kind of, you could go in here. Like I just selected them all, and I don't think that's like the best performance, but anyway, like I said, you could just quantize it. Bam. It's actually not letting me do it. Uh,
I
let's see.
wonder why that's grayed out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe. Let's see. So now, bam, hit quantize. Maybe it'll put them on. But a lot of stuff like this, I kind of do it manually because it's like, say, just looking at it, I would probably want, you know, let's just select in there. Say I would want this actual, I would want that right there, you know, so you can kind of just move it over, like as far as like in the piano roll.
Yeah.
A lot of hip hop stuff that I do is kind of like pretty much done like right in here, you know, more so
Uh-huh.
programming, you know. So I would say like really with these is more so just kind of like really knowing what sound that you want. And a lot of people they also use, I mean, I could show you something with that as well, just to kind of make this better. Uh like dealing with MIDI files. Like I don't know if you deal with MIDI files or anything like that, but people have MIDI files that are already pre-programmed. One second, I got but you could, you know, pretty much find like MIDI that's already programmed, kind of according to like what you do. Like I don't know what specific type of music that you do, but like if you're looking for like, you know, like soul stuff or like stuff for like movie scores, like I mean they have popular songs with MIDI. And then like now people are just like making MIDI and selling like chord progressions. Like they'll sell you a 251, you know, and like
Mm.
in C and then in D. And you know, they'll just have all the keys, you know. And
Yeah.
they're selling it, you know, and like people that, you know, obviously don't know what a 251 is, they'll buy it, you know.
Yeah.
So
But normally I would want to be able to either play it on the keyboard and record it or to draw it in myself.
yeah. But that's what I was just saying. That's just another option as far as like with people, you know, just working with MIDI. As far as like I'm just gonna drag something in. I don't even know what it is. It looked like it's multiple tracks.
Yeah.
And let's see. And normally like you could kind of just take it's like a multi-track MIDI. So like I said, you could kind of just take some of these files, like a lot of hip hop and like urban production and pop music is kind of just basically based off of this because people will take like a, you know, a 1-6, you know, 2-5-1 chord progression and just, you know, throw a synth on top of it and, you know, add an arpeggio to it and, you know, basically have somebody sing on it, put like a break beat on top of it, and now it's a hit, you know.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm waiting for this to actually load. But I definitely want to get into some audio stuff because like I said,
Okay.
my more of my I use Pro Tools primarily for audio and I use Logic primarily for MIDI. Like I know how to do this. Like I actually when I went to Columbia College, like I actually worked in the MIDI lab at Columbia for like 3 years. So I learned all of this stuff. But at the time I was learning it, you know, I had gear like hardware. So, you know, my focus was really learning my gear and then everything obviously shifted towards digital. So I knew how to work it, but I really did at the time digital sounds didn't sound as good as they do now. So, you know, it wasn't really like, is this loading or what? I think is it grayed out or
I don't think it's loading.
let's see. I think I see something down. But anyway, I'll just do a little quick reference with this one. Let's solo this put something on it. For the most part though, like these are like I said, you play ukulele, like that could be something that you know you could do as well. Like people like buy loops. Like a lot of like young producers and people that I record, because I run a recording studio as well. Like I pretty much encounter a lot of people, they just use loops, you know. So if you know, like you record yourself on a ukulele and you know you think it sounds good. Like you could actually make a ukulele pack because, like I said,
Yeah.
not a lot of people that are doing that. I don't think, like I haven't seen a ukulele sample pack. Like
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, let's just see. Let's just. I would put it on. I'm gonna just put it on the grand because it looks like it's a piano. And okay, so it just needed it. Let's get rid of it because it's definitely not the same tempo. And then it looks like my sample rate. And wow, yeah, that's not good. Okay, so yeah, I might have to shut my Pro Tools down and restart it. Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm gonna just get into the a little bit of the presentation and just kind of show you
Okay.
some of the stuff while I shut my Pro Tools down and restart it. So here, let's stop that share. But yeah, so yeah, what's going on, Sean? That's your name,
Yeah, my name is Sean.
okay? And what do you do as far as like you produce, you engineer?
I make music. My name is Christopher Lavelle. That's my middle name, but also my music name.
Yeah,
Um, and so I rap and I do some singing. But I'm teaching myself since we've been in quarantine. I have Pro Tools, and so I'm teaching myself how to mix my own music. And
yeah.
so that's a big thing that I'm trying to figure out is how to get my mixes right, um, how to get them to sound like good and full and like radio quality as possible.
I would say what I mean as far as mixing, the main thing is like your room and obviously your speakers, you know what I'm saying? But if your room is like cool and you have like bass traps and like, sound baffles and diffusers, you know, but if you're doing it in the crib, then obviously you're not gonna have that. But you could kind of, make your environment just kind of ideal because like really all the diffusers and all that stuff is just really to like kind of like I said diffuse the sound and kind of like make it sound you don't really want to be able to hear outside interference. So if your room you hear noise from like neck you kind of really just want it to be like you know you at once. So like a good set of headphones, I would say it's another software called Sonar. I believe Sonar works. Not Sonar, I believe that's what it's called. Don't quote me. I could get the name of it for you, but like they're definitely it kind of treats. It's like a software that basically, if you have headphones or if you have a room, it'll basically adjust and treat your. It'll basically treat your room as far
Mm,
as like like it's real high tech, but it's like I know some like real up there people who like who did it. So I would say
right.
definitely.
Okay.
But what plugins like do you use and like what
Um,
what do you feel your sound is missing?
that's a good question. Um, well, I think the room thing does point me in the right direction, but I think just I don't even know how to describe it. Just I just know like there's a difference, like this quality wise. I don't know if there's a way for me to like let you listen eventually or something like that. Um,
I would say yeah, you could definitely send me some stuff over, but it's more of like because when it really comes to recording, you just kind of get to the okay, say you got a beat, so are you making the actual music?
no, I'm not making the music.
So are
It's just
so how are the beats? Are the beats there sonically? Like, like is,
I think it's more so just the way that it sounds when it's all put together. Like it doesn't sound as
as
clear.
yeah. So it's really just kind of figuring out what's not clear, whether it's the beat or it's the vocals. If the beat, if say you getting a beat from like, cause like I said, I run a studio. So most people I record get beats from YouTube, even though I play instruments and I could make whatever they want, I mean, pretty much tailor made. They, go to YouTube, get this, Chief Keef, Party Boy, Playboy Cardi type beat. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
And I download it and it has like you know just so much 808 there's just like I mean but my job is really to just kind of, try to make it sound right, and usually their budget isn't really, because it's not like, just say hypothetically, if you charge $50 an hour, they're trying to come in and record the song and get you to mix it and all that within an hour. So it's, like you working on your own project, you have more time, but it's like you kind of got to really look at the sonics of, what you're working on. Cause it's like you have obviously with urban music and pretty much anything that's out now, like you got the 808s and the kicks. So the drums are pretty much the most important thing. No disrespect to the ukulele, but I was just saying, like the drums are the most important thing, and like that's pretty much what people are really concentrating on. So if your drums are knocking, like as far as like the kick is punching through, and the 808, you really feel the warmness of it, and you hear the snare, like boom, chap, boom, you hear it, that's first and foremost, and obviously get the vocals in quick. You know,
Mhm.
basically those are the main components of your mix. Like when people hear it, I mean, obviously they hear the lyrics and stuff, but sonically, that's what you're hearing. You're hearing like the 808s and the drums and the vocals. Like that's really what you want to hear. So I would just say put some emphasis on those, and then just kind of work your way back. And it's a lot of tools. I don't know what plugins you have. Like I said, I with
And
my
I'm very, very new to this. Even when you say plugins, I'm like, what exactly do you mean? You know what I mean?
so I would say, yeah, you would kind of need the whole. Let's see. Go ahead. Let me just I'm gonna kind of go through my PowerPoint a little briefly because it might be a little boring to y'all. But I mean,
I wanna learn. So
Me too.
as
Pro
much as,
is for the most part, like I said, it's it, it's an immense application. Like I said, people use it more for for everything. Like I won't even say like people just use it for this. Like it was. Let me load up the PowerPoint. Because I don't really remember all the facts. But it's definitely worthwhile. Where's it at? And I'm still learning. I'm new to Zoom. I'm new to all this. So
Mhm.
just dealing with the quarantine and just trying to figure it out. So anyway, bam, it's the intro part. So for the most part, like I said, Pro Tools is a DAW. Do y'all know what DAWs are? Like digital audio workstation. That's kind of what they consider everything. So for the most part, it was used for like sound for picture, and generally now is used for sound recording. When they really were first using it, it was more so based on people were using it to like just master projects, because as far as like when you look at the edit window, you have this big screen, and people would just put song one on track one, song two on track two, and then they would just kind of master albums, because you would have this whole canvas where you could like listen to, you could actually like listen to a whole project and kind of get the overall balance of the songs, because that's kind of where mastering and stuff comes into play. Because if if you listen to one song, like just say you have a acoustic piece, that's followed by like followed by Migos song, so to basically have them, sit within the same space, that's kind of really where mastering comes into play. So it's not really like you making one louder than the other. It's just kind of, the loudness perception of when you're actually hearing it, to like know physically, like, oh yeah, this one is, sounds the same. Because obviously if it like obviously as a person that could hear, like you gonna hear, if one sounds louder than the other, you gonna hear it. So just that's really what mastering comes into play. But really just kind of dealing with Pro Tools is more like just a visual representation of all the stuff that you're doing with audio. So like I said, it could consist of editing, arranging, mixing, and mastering. So you could use it as a software, and it works with DSP. So depending on what type of interface you have now, they've made it to where it's like your interface has the actual uh your interface has the actual processors that are running on your computer, you know, like as far as like, cause say like, I'm trying to think back, but like when Pro Tools first started, like it says that they were used with just PCIe cards and original PCI cards. So that was just really how fast they were working. So it's like with technology, they've got faster and faster. And so if you have like say a universal audio interface, it will also say you had, just say you got a MacBook that has like a i7 or something with a quad core. Like you could get a processor with your interface that has also a quad core. So now it's like you're running an 8 core. So it's like you're not running all this processing power of these plugins on your computer. You're also running it, you know, on this hardware DSP. But just to kind of get, you know, just quick, I done messed it up. But just kind of quickly to go through it, like the history, Pro Tools, they basically made it. It was actually a software that they developed for a EMI emulator. Like the sound, it was called Sound Designer in 1985. You know, and then pretty much in 87, they upgraded it to 1.5. 89, they came with Sound Designer 2 and also upgraded the Sound Accelerator, which is kind of what it started. And then, like it says, you know, in 91, that's when Pro Tools like really first came on the scene. You know, so for the most part, it's been around for a while. But like that's, you know, that was pretty much when it came in like 93. That was when they kind of first, you know, offered it like just Pro Tools. So fast forward to today, like I said, with all the upgrades, the third party solutions, which is more of like what I was telling you with the plugins and, you know, with technology evolving and people, you know, being able to, you know, use their experience and like, you know, integrate basically networking audio. That's a new thing, you know. So it's just like really all the evolutions of technology, they're right enhanced with Pro Tools as far as like we're dealing with the control surfaces, the different interfaces that, like I said, have dedicated processors that work towards you, you know, having a higher track count, you know, which this might not be something that, you know, you really care about right now because it's like you might not even know how to load a track. But it's like, you know, that's really kind of where they're at with just making it better and the quality is getting, you know, higher and higher. So just really understanding like the sample rates, which is what my next slide is, that's really where you kind of really see the quality of what you got going on. So as far as like with the sample rates, like I said, any DAW is based on any DAW, the sample rate is based on the incoming audio. So that's pretty much how fast it's able to, you know, so all this is basically going to be dependent on your, you know, on your computer. So going back to what I was saying, like if your computer is, you know, fast as well as you have this, you know, accompanying uh interface, this will definitely help you in the long run as far as like getting, you know, more a higher track count as well as achieving that quality. Because like I said, when like right now I would say a decent, what sample rate are you all using when you all are like bouncing stuff down or opening, creating new sessions?
Um,
Is it 44?
44. And then
background.
what is the bit that are you using?
One of them is 24 bits, I think.
So 44 24, you should try 48 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and really depending on, because obviously the higher you get, is gonna create a higher resolution. But you know, you obviously don't want to use like a 192 and a 24 if you like using like a MacBook that's like not, you know, because it's gonna, you know, the audio files are gonna be of a higher, you know, uh, the files are gonna be huge.
Yeah.
So, and then just really thinking of, you know, just thinking of space and all of that. But like with 48. 24, I would say that's kind of like the norm as far as like what people are using, and then really just kind of, gauging specifically what you're allowed. I mean, I'll get into that once I load back up the session, but that's not a stock plugin like a loudness meter, which is what I kind of started using, because that was really, I won't say it was a game changer because I'm still fine tuning with that one, but it also allows me to, see the loudness peaks of my song. So if like you're working on some music and you really want to, like the loudest point. So if like you have like this big drum fill or you have like a part where you're singing and it climaxes, like basically the parts where the most stuff is going on to where it's like you might be in the red. Like, so those are really the parts that, not saying that you want to contain, but you really want to make those parts pop because it's like you don't really want it to be distorted. You want it to kind of sound clean. So really just more so, like I said, just really working on the mix and kind of just carving stuff out. And I kind of get into that when I load something up. But Pro Tools is basically based off of non-destructive editing, so it's basically allows you to chop up stuff and it, keeps the original source material intact on your hard drive and you kind of keep, you know, you could keep doing it unless you obviously save over it or something like that. But that's kind of what it's based on, non-destructive editing. As far as like, it's not creating a new file, unless you tell it to, it's basically creating little chops of this one big file, you know. Then, like I said, the main thing as far as like with your computer, like I don't know if you see this. This is kind of how a lot of my sessions are, but it's taking up a lot of your memory, you know. Like these are my 4 CPUs. I don't think this is from mine because I have like 8 on mines, but like I'll show you where this is as well, but you could kind of see like if you're getting a lot of like crashes, like say you're loading up Pro Tools and it's crashing a lot, like that's where the buffer rate and all that stuff kind of comes into play. So when you're mixing, you usually want to have your samples high where it says like 512 and 1024, and when you're recording you want to have it low as far as like being like with 32 samples or 64, because that's really where the latency issues will come into play. Because when you're mixing, you really, obviously if you're recording, you want it to be as accurate as possible because if you're the artist and you're actually performing, you want it to be on point. So you kind of got to have the low, your samples low as far as like 32. But then when you're mixing and listening back, you could have it up high because the little, like you're not going to hear it. But just kind of going into it. And then another element, like I said, of just sessions, because a lot of people, this is an issue that, a lot of people that I dealt with this when I worked in the MIDI lab, because it was like, say we worked in this class on various projects and the last day we have to come play a session and, say you got your hard drive or your flash drive and you you basically plug it up and you load the session and it doesn't work.
Oh no.
So these are the main components that I try to tell people of like a session. Like, so if you have a session, like this is actually a client of mine's, but his song was called Omerta. Like, I mean, you could save them however you want, but inside this folder, this Omerta was the song. Like, we had 2 different versions, the regular one and then 2.0. Then it also has the bounce files, which is actually where the bounce of the songs are, the audio files that are associated with it, as well as the session file backups. And then it also has a wave cache as far as like it takes a picture, of like, of your thing. But if you have all of these components in your session, like is gonna work, like if you didn't like save the last version you worked on, then that's but that's pretty much it. But I would say other than that, we could get started. Like I said, when you making a session, going back to what I was telling you, dealing with the sample rate, you kind of have all of these functions right here to actually, change the sample rate from, 48 to 44.1 or to 96 or to 192. You have the choice of changing it from, a wave to a AIFF. Yeah, I think it's another option, the OMF, I believe, or something. But for the most part, you mainly use wave or AIFFs, mainly waves and Pro Tools, but what's the names in Logic. But I would say the 24-bit, that's pretty much kind of like this and the sample rate are the most important. And then your IO settings, depending on what type of interface you have, this is kind of what'll dictate, what inputs that you see. So if say I go to, let's go back to this. This is actually a client of mine's session. They didn't authorize me to use it, so oh well. But anyway, like I was saying, so when you go to the actual session and load it up, this is kind of what you'll see. Was that loudness meter I was talking about. I can get into that in a few, but like I'll just kind of fit everything to the window. So this is kind of typical of like a session. Yeah, I'll fit it to the window. This is typical of like a session. Can you all see the session?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For me, this is typical of a session of like, say, a client that comes in for like, say, an hour to basically 2 hours, and does a song. I mean, that's typically kind of what it would take, and like I said, you all are doing your own stuff. So you don't really kind of want to gauge, a time limit. Really, you kind of want to get the job done. And I tell people like that, like, like obviously, I don't know if you all are recording people as well, but it might be something you might want to look into because it will definitely help. It will help your process because you'll see mistakes that you made, and you obviously could help other people while they're doing it. But like I said, just really dealing with, dealing with other clients and, seeing them with their craft, because you're going to run into people who are real serious. You're going to run into people who are not serious, so it might drive you crazy, but, just saying though. So once you kind of like, get into that, you kind of just start seeing, like, I kind of play some of this, like with this, most people that I record, I kind of try to make them happy, but like, with this, if I solo the vocals, like most people, they have their headphones like up too loud.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of hear like the headphones in the recording. So if I mean, she could sing actually pretty. She sings pretty nice to me. So I'll just play this part solo, just a little bit of it.
Thinking about his touch, I get excited. Somebody's love is nothing like it. When I need it, he be needing more. When I need my feet.
But you kind of hear a little bit of the noise in the background. But like I said, for the most part, you just really kind of want to get like a clean vocal as far as like, to whereas, let me blow this up a little bit, to where it's not like, clipping out and you don't hear any distortion. Because the worst distortion is digital distortion, and once you kind of look, you kind of see, like, I mean, and I kind of see the spots that I could kind of edit. This looks like this is something that's not. See, like, obviously you kind of see all the stuff, but, it's really kind of like, if you really mixed it, like, like I would kind of have to go in. Looks like my computer is tripping, but I would really have to kind of go in and like, like just hit all the breaths. But for the most part, just to really kind of get it clean, once you kind of like hear it, I'll just let you hear that.
Thinking about his touch, I get excited. Somebody's love is nothing like it. When I need it, he be needing more. When I need my face.
But like I said, once you record it and kind of get a lot of the songs, and have the stuff in context, like you kind of start hearing, like kind of don't really matter if you go in and take out all them breaths. You know, like you kind of really want it to sound as natural as possible, and as well as you want it to stand out. So as far as like we're dealing with, like I don't have stock plugins on here, but like let's see. I mean, I could just kind of go to the stock Digi plugin. And here I could kind of reference my EQ, like kind of side by side or something. But so say like this is kind of what I did, which isn't really nothing like a Pro Q. I mean, so do you have any plugins or you just have like the Digi stuff?
Just the ones that came with Pro Tools at the moment.
That's what I'm saying. So if like you look at like I don't know if you see it, but these are all my like EQs. Like like so this is all Pro Tools stuff right here. So if I click right here, this is all that stuff. So I mean, you could use it, but I'm just saying, like, as far as like this EQ, let me actually. So if you're loading a plugin and you want to see two, if you hit this red button, it'll actually allow you to have two plugins loaded side by side. I don't know if you can see that. So now, and it's just really kind of knowing this stuff, and that's kind of a whole nother story. As far as like just understanding frequency, like and just really in a nutshell, you got low, you got mid, and you got high. So you know what I'm saying? You know what your low is, and you just really kind of want to clean stuff up. So really to just kind of be quick and explain mixing, like you really just kind of want to you basically want to polish everything up, and each specific sound has its own frequency range that's its sweet spot. Just like if say your voice and my voice, they're different. You know what I'm saying? We're both males, but it's like you have a sweet spot, which is a frequency for your voice, just like I have a sweet spot for mine. So it's just really kind of fine tuning and like figuring it out. So it's like you do that with instruments. So if like you're mixing like, just say all the low stuff. Say you got a beat with drums, 808, a low baritone horn, and like, some synths and drums. So it's like you could just really create a separation for everything. So the low horn, your kicks, and your 808s are gonna like cover the whole low frequency. You got your mid range, which is probably where like maybe like some pianos and just some little twinkle stuff, just playing as far as like creating the presence. And then more of your high range is like, say you got like some type of saxophone or just really sounds that are more higher pitched, like the hi-hats, and just dealing with pads and stuff like that. But then once you add vocals, how I was saying, we have our own sweet spot. So our voice has to, your voice has to, fit within all that stuff. So if say you got all these different components that are going on, like just say hypothetically, my voice is good at like, 1500, or 1K or something like that, between 1K and 1500, or whatever. So just say this particular beat you got, like I don't have my spectrum with the sounds, but just say my voice is in the same range as I don't know, oboe or something. I'm just thinking of anything, but just say, hypothetically, now you're gonna have to mix that oboe. You're gonna have to take stuff out from that oboe as far as like, so the voice could actually fit in there, because you might mix the beat down before the voice is on there, but now it's stuff that's going have to be, it's gonna have to lose, because you don't want your voice to be fighting. That's like when you got the kick and the 808. This was a question I used to ask a lot, because I play bass too. So it's like I got the kick, the 808, and the bass guitar. So it's like I got all these fighting. It's not a lot of room at the low end. So if you got two, from 0 to 200, you know what I'm saying? Like you got all this stuff fighting. So even if I was to just, let me find a section in this beat.
So is it like just a matter of playing around with it to find where the sweet spot is?
Yeah, like I'm finna show you with this beat. I'm gonna solo it. It might loop good, it might not. I don't know. It did, but here I take this one off. Okay, let me stop it. But with this particular plugin that I use, I don't know if you see the actual frequency moving. It's not moving in here because that's on her voice. But if I was to like show you it, oh. But if you wanted to like make it bassy, you know, as far as like that. Or if you wanted to brighten it up, you know. It's just certain ranges that do certain stuff. Obviously up here, that's where you add air and make stuff, you know, this is what you would do to a vocal. But like once you find the range and like play it, you can kind of see specifically, you know. Like if say I wanted to find that snare, you know, that's something that's popping out. So just reset all these. Bam. Bam. Just say kind of right here somewhere. And with this plug-in, I could actually see what I'm taking out. So I could, you know, like super find it. But it might, like I said, it might be hard to like find the snare. Like I could better show you this example with like a beat that's like tracked out. You know?
How would you find the snare?
Within this, I would just kind of use this frequency thing, you know. But like I was saying, with this, I probably would I would loop it in a different section to whereas because the snare is only hitting like maybe twice. So only
Okay.
2 times. So say if I'm playing I mean, you kind of could do that. Let me actually try to show you on the other one. Yeah, I actually want to use the plug-in that y'all have because y'all don't have this one. But as far as with the Digi, instead of, if you just look at it, it has the same things except this one is more graphical, you know, like as far as like you could kind of just really hands-on see it. With this one, you kind of got to know the numbers. So like I said, I could send you all like a frequency spectrum chart. Because I would say when I was in college, like that was kind of something that I like studied like a lot, you know.
Right.
Trying to understand it. Because, you know, me rapping, like I really wanted my voice. And I still don't like the way I mix my voice. So that's another story. But I would say, let's see. So let's X this one out. Let's actually find like a little loop of the beat I could actually like use that might sound. spinning wheel. All right, let me just stop it. But like, come on. Sometimes it gotta mind its own. But like I was gonna say, with these, just really knowing, like I said, you got your low frequencies, mid frequencies, low mids, mid frequencies, high mids, and your high frequencies. So each one of these colors kind of control each one of these. And what the cue point does is it'll make this actually smaller. You know, so if say you just wanted to affect, you know, man, it's all right. My thing is so delayed. Give it 1 second.
Oh, so is the cue point the width of the
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah, I'm trying to do it, but it's actually not doing it. My thing is delayed. Oh, I was actually on the wrong one. So here. So like I said, if say you have a point that you're trying to boost up, you know, like kind of like, yeah, let's actually just do it to like say a vocal. And then just say hypothetically, let's go back to this vocal. Let's just hit this. You know they have presets on here. Like I don't know if you all use the presets, but the presets are your best friend, you know, like totally.
Thinking about his touch, I get excited. Somebody's love is nothing like it. When I need it.
Yeah, my computer is acting funny. But I would say like, I'm gonna just show you some of the presets. Cause I kind of did questionnaire asking people what was their most used stock Pro Tools plugin. And I would say by far with me, mine is Verify.
Oh,
Do you all use Verify?
no, I don't think I've heard of it.
Have you heard of Verify?
Mm-mm.
Wow. It's basically like, I'm quite sure it's in here in this song. Let's see. Like I know it's in here. Like I use it on every session. I use it on every like urban session, if I want to call it so, for real. But it's basically like just a record drop. I think it's like right here. You know, I got it. Hold up. But I think it's like right here.
Habit, man, I know I'm staying fast. All my life, all I've been told was.
That was it right there. So here, I'm gonna just kind of do one kind of outrageous, just so you can kind of see. I'm gonna just delete that. Yeah, my computer is acting real like delayed. So you kind of, it's an audio suite plugin. What is you doing, man? My bad. I'm sorry. I'll be talking to my computer. My computer definitely doesn't act right. So I gotta like try to talk to it. But you go up here to the audio suite, it's in other. It's actually in pitch shift. I'm tweaking. And you go to verify. But it's basically like a, you know, like a slowdown. So if say I go here and, you know, you could hit Command E. Wow, they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But you hit Command E to basically slice right here. And I mean, you really don't have to do it like that. But so now once I hit this and select that, now once I go here and I just hit render, now it's gonna actually put a slowdown on that whole thing. So
You gotta have it like I gotta have it, man. I know I'm stating facts. All my life, all I've been told was actions speak louder than words. All I know is that.
I mean, reverse too. I mean, it's all.
You gotta have it like I gotta have it, man. I know I'm stating facts.
But I would say between that and Maxim, I don't know if you all use that. I mean, I don't use it. as much.
You gotta have it like I gotta have it, man. I know I'm stating facts. All my life, all I've been told was actions speak louder than words. Well, all I know is that when he with me, coming fast.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually load up something else because this song is tripping. But 1 second. I'm gonna try to find something with music on it so I could kind of show you the better example. And do you all ever mess with like I'm trying to think, I don't think I have any on here, but like any of the test like music that they have, like you could get like Stevie Wonder sessions and like, you know,
Oh,
uh
no, I don't think I've seen, well, I might have seen them, but I don't think I can find them in Pro Tools.
yeah, nah, it's not in Pro Tools, but it's just the waves. I'm trying to see if I have any of them. Cause like I said, I mean I know I got them, but I'm trying to think if I have like any sessions like loaded in. Like I say, I kind of deal with a lot of stuff because, like I said, it's so much stuff you could do, like in Pro Tools, as far as like from just recording sound for like pretty much anything. Like you could do podcasts. I mean, you could, and more so the podcast for like you editing it, like on the back end.
Huh?
I'm still looking through my stuff. Let's see. I think, yeah, this isn't nothing multi-track. I kind of let you out here. Yeah, I kind of want to try to load a session that's kind of, because like I said, most of the stuff that you all are kind of dealing with is just like basic audio stuff and, a little bit of MIDI. So it's not like, it's, you all aren't like doing a lot of processor heavy stuff, so it's like you all should pretty much be good as far as like with just keeping your setting your sessions to like 40, 48, 24, and just really, kind of just gauging the loudness points of your overall session. See, stop that. Because like once you kind of know that, you could kind of just really pinpoint stuff. Because and then you could kind of just tune around that. Because once it really depends on the music. Obviously, if it's something urban, low end, and that's it. If you don't have, and really reference tracks. Like they didn't really teach us this when I was like really learning. But a lot of like I used to help a lot of people with their homework. They would come to the people with book sessions because when I went to school, I mean, and not like it was a long time ago, but like when I was in school, people would, like come to my studio and like, give me the help. They would book sessions and I would help them. Cause like I worked at the studio. So I was always like that guy who would like help you, like, and like I could have had a hotline like about 10 years ago, like doing this stuff, but I just never really, reached out to the platforms because it was just like, I'm running my business, trying to figure all this stuff out. Like I said, this session that I load right here, make sure it's cool. Yeah, do it. It might actually have vocals on it. I think this is an intro to one of my projects that I did. I didn't do the beat, but I played bass on it, and it's one of my other buddies played drums on it. So, like I said, this is kind of like more different from probably like what you all are probably dealing with, but it'll kind of like help you kind of grasp everything that to just kind of get a sense of overall what it is that you're trying to like look for. I could kind of show. See, I just play it, kind of like see some stuff. I kind of load some stuff and just tell you stuff about it. It's not. This isn't even the final mix. Like this isn't even the mix that's gonna be out. But
y'all niggas acting. Marley. Just turn my phone back on, hella texting, 20 missed calls, another day, another dollar. Nigga can't get them all, but still I ball, staying tall, 2 C's I tower. What you talking about? Will it's the city? Then I was on my hair watching this shit, niggas dying to get rich, but at least they trying. All he know is crime and on the ground, junior high. Mama stay getting high, cause daddy was never there, so how could he compare? We one in the inhale, exhale, we living in hell. The game designed with flaws, we set up to fail, it ain't hard to tell. Third eye, always they focus, is do or die, in the shot, can't help it to be bogus. 30 popper on deck, my nigga talk his shit. I hear you bumping your guns, but you don't want this beat. That shit gon' cost you about 6 feet. That's the price you pay off in these streets. The product.
so I guess this is how one of my sessions would look, and isn't even like a big. This is a small session, like, but like yeah. So really, the way I kind of do it. So I think I got all the drums routed through auxes, and can you all see the mix window?
Yeah.
So all of the drums like kick, snare, left tom, right tom, floor toms, and hi-hats and the overheads, they were all routed to bus one, which I actually have this distressor on. And I mean, that's kind of something that you all could probably do with your vocals. Like, so say once you kind of get your vocals, like, sounding the way you want them, like how you were saying, like it's not it's not, it's not like where you want it to be. So like, this is maybe something that you could do once you got it, like where you want it. Cause then now you could actually bus it to, one specific aux, and actually put a compressor on that and actually compress the whole thing to really make it sound full like that. You know what I'm saying? And then really just kind of gauging what, what's your like channel, what's your channel strip setup like? So what's your setup like? Cause a lot of people always talk about the EQ. Should I EQ first or should I compress first? Or, and it's really more of your preference, So it all really depends on, what you're really trying to go for. So if you want it to sound like really polished, you're gonna probably EQ it first. Whatever you're compressing, you're gonna be boosting up, So and I learning from some of the pros, like for real, because I started going to conferences, I would say, like, which I hate all this COVID, but anyway, like a lot of stuff is going virtual, and like a lot of people that I've met at conferences, like they're doing like webinars like this, so it's actually pretty dope. Like I could like chop it up with them like right in the studio, so it's just like really, it's really, just really gauging what it is that you're looking for, within the sound. Like that's really kind of just really what I try to do. Like I was saying, like with the compressor, like you could just really boost whatever it is that you need up, because like I was saying with what they were doing is like just say your vocals aren't where they want to be, or just say your drums, and I just kind of show my example with this, because you'll definitely hear it. It's like, say the drums are cool. That's what the distress. I actually cut it off. And this is, this is actually just like another compressor. But like I was saying, just kind of cleaning it up and, getting it straight. It's like you're doing multiple things. Like it's bypassed now. And then you're really getting that punch from this attack. So if I take the attack back, that kick ain't really coming through like that. If I put it like where it was normally at. But the more I push this attack, and I make the release time short, it's like the drums are more punching through. And this is, like I say, this is independent from each individual track. So obviously if I wanted to, like boost up the kick a little bit, you still can. But it's just, what I'm saying, now instead of you like mixing, into, just say hypothetically, you got a beat and 14 tracks of vocals. So instead of you trying to mix, the beat, which is a 2-track, and 14 tracks of vocals down into one, you could actually, create separation with your actual vocals and have like, your chorus just bust to one. Or you could have like your backgrounds just bust, you know what I'm saying? And then you could really create separation with your tracks. Cause then really what most people are doing, going back to what I was saying with the old school songs, a lot of the stuff is bust. Cause it's like now we have abundance of tracks. You know what I'm saying? So if like say I could make 100 tracks, you gon' use 100 tracks. You know what I'm saying? But if it was 1970 and you only had 24 tracks, but you had, 50 musicians, now you gonna start getting creative. You know what I'm saying? Because now you gonna have, that's why you, with panning and stuff like that, like I don't know if you deal with that as far as like with panning certain sounds, but you might listen to old school records and you might hear the strings in the left, but you might hear the horns in the right. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like they were kind of dealing with the technology that was out, and it wasn't really much they could do. They had the, it was a stereo board. They only had, 12, 24 channels, but it was only, 12 stereo channels. And, track 13 is basically left, track 14 is right, and so on, and just really creating that stereo field as well. That might be something that you looking for as well. Just really, because like I say, I hear a lot of people talk about that, like saying that they want to hear it like out, because it's like that's, and a lot of that stuff just kind of comes from, the various tools that you like. I could show them to you, but you don't have them. So it's just be like, you'll be like, damn. I gotta go back. And I'm not endorsing none of these companies, you know what I'm saying? Not yet. But I'm actually trying to, figure all that out. Cause like I said, really just working with, what you have, really just EQ, compressor, de-esser, reverb, delays. I mean, all the plugins are really essentially, they all do the same thing, It's just that, say you got your own compressor, I got mine, and she got hers, So it's just, and mine's might work good for drums. Yours might work great on vocals, while hers might work great on a ukulele, since she plays ukulele or other, what I'm saying, stringed instruments. You feel me? So it's just more of like, just really like kind of just, just really like figuring out what works best for you. You know what I'm saying? Because I would say like, once you kind of get it to a place, you can always like, send it to somebody like me, or like just reference it to something, reference it to something that you really think it sounds similar to, or you would want it to, sound sonically like that. Like I say, a lot of a lot of new music, a lot of stuff that come out is not mixed that good. Like for real. Like for real. Like I would say listen to like great records. Like stuff that won like Grammys. Like, you know, like obviously like the Daft Punk record. Like they put so much, you know, and I'm not even like a fan like that, but it's like I know the people who were behind it and I know how much money that they put into, you know, making, because that's another thing, you got to record and do references, you know, like, you know, obviously Jay-Z made it famous for people to say I one taked it, but you know, like, is that one take the best take? Could you actually have got it better? You know, you just did it so good in one take. What if you did 4 takes? You know what I'm saying? I think the fourth one probably would have been better. You know what I'm saying? So, and just really like, you know, just really kind of looking at that, but really just, I mean, I would say since, you know, you recording yourself, that's what you're doing, you recording yourself. Yeah, so by recording yourself, that's always gonna be, you know, you kind of you kind of your worst critic, you know, and that's kind of where I won't say I mean that's kind of one of my problems that I like deal with, you know, because it's like, you know, it's songs that, you know, I've done for people that's out there, you know, that I don't, you know, if I still, you know, the mix ain't never done with me. Anytime I hear it, you know, and that's all just really trying to get to that level to where it's like, okay, I can honestly say that it's done, you know, and it's dope. Like, oh, I like this. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely you know, just keep messing around, you know. And I would say send me some stuff, you know. And I'm really trying to find more ways to like engage with you know with people like you all to, you know, like help out as well as, you know, create an online community, because that was something that I always was lacking. And then once I started, you know, going to like the conferences, I started obviously meeting people. We still haven't created it, but it's definitely communities for it. But it's like with me, I kind of want to create a community where it's like a no judgment zone type deal. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, I don't know. I mean, I kind of came up to where but my bad. I kind of came up to where it's like, you know, people were always, you know, everybody was competitive, you know, and people were like always holding out their secrets. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like I worked with, I won't even say no names, but like I said, because like I said, I pretty much, I would say like I've been doing this. I would say I brought Pro Tools, you know, in 2003. So that's just how long like I've been like doing this, but I've been rapping, you know, not to like, you know, but I've been rapping for a while, like since I was a kid, you know. So it was just like just really dealing with everything that's like, you know, just going on with it, you know. So it was just like, you know, the studio thing was just always like my thing, you know. So just really like grasp I guess the bigger picture. That's really, like I said, more of, you know, just really messing around with it and just kind of really having, like I said, that community of people that, you know, that actually give you feedback. You know, I would just say, you know, dude, just check some people out. Like I said, a lot of people that I met at the conferences I didn't even know, you know, like never heard of, you know, like it was people that I heard of, obviously, but you know, everybody want to work with somebody that you know that they heard of, like, oh. But then once I met, like, say Leslie Brathwaite, you know, y'all could look him up. But like he did, you know, like Cardi, you know, like all the Cardi B stuff. He did that WAP song, even though I still haven't heard it. You know, I got a daughter, so I ain't even trying to get into that. But at the end of the day, like he did that. He did all her album, you know, like he did Pharrell, like, you know, like Happy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Mick Gazowski, Mick Gazinski. I think that's his name. I don't remember, but Like him, he did the Daft Punk album. You know what I'm saying? But he did like Earth, Wind, and Fire albums in like the 70s too. So it's just like, you know, and a lot of these people are like, they real cool. That's the cool thing. Like, you know, I would just say like kind of check some of these people out. Like I could definitely send y'all some people, but I'm trying to actually have some events. Like really once I could get more people, you know, like into like the webinars, then I actually like be able to like budget to have like Leslie Brathwaite and like, cause like right now, just say Leslie Brathwaite, Young Guru. You know what I'm saying? I'm still waiting for, if you know him, you know, like yeah, that's Jay-Z's engineer. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to think who else. Focus, who worked with Dre, with Dr. Dre. Major Seven. He like, I mean, he kind of like he real cool. He kind of underground, you know, but I won't call him underground. He did stuff on Khaled project. He made The Devil Is a Lie for Rick, you know, for Rick Ross and Jay-Z, you know. Like I seen him on a tutorial. Like I met him at a conference and then ended up, you know, uh running into him because once you start going to the conferences and networking and stuff, you gonna run into the same people. Like, you know, it's like yeah, like Avid is there, the people who make Pro Tools. It's like if you bought Pro Tools, you need to go see these people at this thing because they, you know, they obviously not gonna treat you like, you know, you like finna buy some big Pro Tools icon system, but you know, excuse me, as long as you get a little FaceTime with them and build rapport with them, because you'll keep, if you keep going, you're gonna keep seeing them, you know, and then like you just really, you know, just you just really want to be involved in the scene. Like right now, everything being online, like I know Waves, they do stuff all the time. Waves Audio. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but that's kind of like a lot of this stuff. I'm kind of like I want to have in my newsletter to where it's like all the stuff that I'm always constantly, you know, looking at. Like I want to share that with everybody, but you know, it's kind of hard. Like I'm trying to run a business and, you know, like for real, working MailChimp and, you know what I'm saying? Like for real, I ain't trying to do that. I'm trying to make beats and, you know, work on this program, you know, because I'm in the process of like actually doing a boot camp, like a music production and recording boot camp. The music production aspect is more focused on Logic. The recording aspect of it is more focused on Pro Tools, and then I'm also incorporating a songwriting aspect that's gonna kind of incorporate rapping with it too, you know, and just, you know, I'm really just working on that, and you know, takes a lot of time, you know, to like create a curriculum, you know, and still like live, like, you know, I still gotta, you know, maintain and do stuff. So just really working on stuff and just trying to, you know, give back and, you know, provide content that'll like help people out. Cause like I said, a lot of these people that I've met, like, you know, like a lot of stuff that I share with people, like I got from them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like going to these conferences and, you know, raising my hand, asking, cause sometimes asking questions that was stupid and didn't really, you know, make sense at the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Cause for real, they'll put you on the spot, you know, but just really kind of just really thinking of, you know, what it is that, what problem it is that you have and, you know, how it is that they could probably help you fix it, you know. And with me, I'm trying to get them to like listen to my mixes. That's all I really want, you know, like for them to just kind of, you know, and a lot of people just be like, yeah, it's straight, like, you know, but I want them, like, you know, like, because like these people are working on like the records, you know, so the reality is, you know, just really having some rapport with some people and, you know, like I was saying earlier, like working with people, that's a way you could kind of get instant gratification. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you record somebody and they come back. You know what I'm saying? For real. And it was like that was how I got, you know, like I got my start kind of like that. Like just recording, you know, working on my projects and then like, you know, having people like, say I got you on a song, and then say we recorded the song, and then you like, hey, you can record this song for me real quick, you know what I'm saying? And then, say I do it. And then, that just turned into, that was the thing, then it actually became, I would kind of say at the time, it became my hustle, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I went, I think when I went and got my mixtape cover, shot, and I was at, we was in a big warehouse, and I asked dude, like when he was shooting, I'm like, man, how you find this spot? Because you know what I'm saying? Like if you ever been to like most studios, even the building I'm in now, like most studios, they're not gonna be in like, a spot where it just say studio. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be somewhere in the cut where it's be like, how did you find this spot? So, and that was pretty much how I got in. Like my man's, he pretty much he didn't even plug me. He was like, yeah, when you leave out, he was like, it's a number on the building. He was like, just call it and tell the owner you looking for a spot. You know what I'm saying? I did it. Luckily for me, it was at the time I was in college, so I was really, I wouldn't say transitioning out of hip hop, but I was evolving more from just being like, I guess, a beat maker into like a musician, you know what I'm saying? And at the time, he wasn't really trying to deal with like, black people that like made beats. And luckily I was in a band and like I was doing, I was playing blues and stuff. So it was cool. He was like, yeah, even though, it ended up not being what it was supposed to be, but that was kind of how I got my start, like as far as like being in that spot. And then like I said, just, really finding a location, to really, to get the sound that I need. Because like I said, this spot they have, I don't know if you see the sound baffles or whatever, but let me stop this. But like, they got all types of diffusers and stuff like that. So, and my other studio I was with my guys. I mean, I've had several studios and spots that I've worked at, but like with my guys, they basically built the studio, So it was like now I'm with some guys who, like now I'm learning how to build. Like I didn't know nothing about none of this stuff. Like I seen all this stuff. We was building these panels, like at one point he was thinking about going in business to design panels, and it seemed pretty lucrative because it wasn't a big investment. It's like, you know, so just really, like if you was to just put a little panel like behind you, or put like, I got, you can't see it, but I got like a cloud like right above, me, and that's kind of, you just, even if you have like a little room where if you just got a cover around you, basically you just need something that's enclosing you in that area. And obviously the sound to go through it, but as far as like with no outside interference, that's pretty much it. That's why most of the studios, the doors will be sealed and all that. You know, obviously the spot I'm at, their walls are straight, but if it's a band rehearsing next door, like, I mean, come on, it's still a band. The drummer is playing loud as shit, so it's like, what you gonna do? Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's just really kind of how you know, you just really gotta like figure the sound thing out, But I think as far as like with just really working, like I gotta hear some of your stuff, but just really just taking some of the stuff that I was saying, like that was pretty much my start. Cause my whole thing was like, why I can't get my stuff to sound good. And then it got to a point to where it's like, I could get y'all stuff to sound good, but why I can't get my stuff to sound you know what I'm saying? And then and that's a thing too. Like you might want to just pass it off, because putting energy into trying to do that, it'll actually help you focus more on your craft and perfecting, like dropping the music, and that's just really that comes from finding somebody that you mesh with, and all this stuff is really it got to click up, because obviously if it don't work, you already know. But if everything worked, then it's just right. You already know it's like a marriage, and usually it's not is, you know, even when you feeling, that's kind of how creativity is, you know, like if you feeling, you know, you might rush sometimes, and I don't know, because I get that a lot. Like I make a beat and I don't like it, and somebody a bad, you know. And I mean, years ago, I got to the point to where it's like, if say I think this is the best, and then is one that I think that's the worst, but say I play everything, and then you pick the one that's the worst. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion, and it's like it's inverted because it's like if you think this the best, you know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, what I think is the best, you probably think is the worst. So it's just really kind of going off of how you feel, and that's how a lot of times I just kind of really try to go off energy and how I feel, you know, like real. Like sometimes with even, you know, a lot of, you know, I don't know, like even with making music, you just kind of gotta go off your inspiration, stay, you know, creative. Because a lot of the technical stuff, they might be, you know, hurdles for you to get over to get to the next point. But a lot of times, you know, you just kind of gotta look at it as a lesson and kind of try to learn from it to move forward. Because it was like with me, like just really, you know, trying to make my stuff sound straight. Like I kind of put too much time into that. You know, like I put out way too much music. And I only like what I last worked on. So I worked on it like really if I only like what I last worked on. You know what I'm saying? So and I don't mean it like I don't like what I worked on. It's just like I gotta give it time. Like, okay, I listen to it like, damn, like I made that 3 months ago. Like it was nice, you know, but I'm not really trying to go back there. You know, I kind of look at it like as they points in time of like, you know, being creative, you know, and like right now I'm really just trying to monetize the stuff that I have because it's like I got hard drives of years of just music, you know, because it's like I wasn't really, you know, releasing or making music for like I was doing it like for myself. I always was recording people to like make money because I was just that's how I like survive. Like, you know, I don't even need to like advertise. People will call me to, you know, like record. So at the end of the day, it was just really, really once I kind of was trying to push my business forward and then just thinking like more longevity and like, what I'm trying to pass down to like my daughter and showing her the way. So it's like I can't, you know, I can't just sit with these hard drives. Like, you know, I can't be hard drive famous, as my guy called it. You know, it was like you gotta put it out. You can't really, you know, you might want it to be there sonically, but the people gonna tell you ultimately what it is. And you know, I kind of did this in I said this in one of my presentations. You know, like you got quantitative versus qualitative. And then you got to think of the medium that people are listening to your stuff on. You know, like if somebody is listening to your stuff on a crappy phone that got like a signal was like how my signal was when we first started this, you know, do quality matter? Like you spent 50 hours trying to mix this song for somebody who finna listen to it on a phone with the speaker broke. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of just gotta, you know, I mean, the people gon' you know what I'm saying? That's really how I look at it. You know, like people gonna really tell you. Like, and you know, if it's good, greatness gon' you know, you gonna see it regardless. You know, I love to check both of y'all stuff out. You know, like I say, I love to work on a ukulele sound pack. You know, collab with you. Cause like I said, that's really what it's all about. Like linking up with people, you know, from different places and like just, you know, collaborating and working, you know, real. That's pretty much how I got, I wouldn't say that's how I got my start, but when I went to college, it opened me up to like working with just like people. Like I said, I worked in the MIDI lab at Columbia College from 2007 to 2010. So people would just, you know, just get me to help them with Pro Tools all the time, you know. And I never really knew that like that would be something that I could probably, you know, be here sharing with you all, like, you know, just stuff from there, you know, like, but just taking advantage of that. And, you know, like me, y'all could reach out to me, like, that's really what you got to do. Reach out to people that's kind of doing what you're doing and take advantage of it. Cause like, especially a time like now, like I mentioned the MIDI lab, my boss, my old boss, you know, I would say, I don't know, I think in April, I started going live. So like I just went live every day, just making beats. Sometimes I made 2 beats, you know, just going live, figuring everything out. And my boss, she used to like all my stuff, you know. She's like super cold, like she played violin and all that. But he was like my boss, you know, like when I was in college. And, you know, she wasn't like, you know, she wasn't too much older than me, you know, because I went to college, you know, like I'm not to get my, but like I just turned 40. So when I didn't go to college till I was, what, 26, you know. So at the end of the day, she was like, she wasn't too much older than me. So she was pretty cool and she was pretty hip. Showed me so much. But my point is, I didn't ever reach out to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was tweaking off that. Like, it's my boss. Like, she liking my post. I'm just like, she like my post. I still ain't hit her up. You know what I'm saying? Just to be like, hey, like, you know, such and such. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just reaching out because you never know. You know what I'm saying? That's how I got up with Dude Focus. You know, we ain't nothing came out of it, but like I said, Waves Audio, they got tutorial. You're gonna need the plugins, but I watched him on a hip hop making masterclass. And at the end, it was like an hour, 30 minutes long. But at the end, which I guess why I stayed, he was like, yeah, and anybody, if anything that I said on here, like if it don't make sense, you need help, anything, hit me up. You can hit me up on IG. I respond. This dude in the studio with Dr. Dre like every day. Like, I mean, see, you could go to his page right now, Focus 3 dots. He in the studio with Dr. Dre every day. I hit him up and he responded. You know, and when I went to the conference, you know, ain't nothing came out of it yet, but like I said, we still in talks. He's definitely gonna be one of the people that I have doing one of these talks, because I kind of want to get people like them to do these talks, but I kind of want to like maybe interview them, because I kind of want to, you know, I kind of want to pick their brain, but it's like, you know, questions that I know that you all would probably have that, you know, I would kind of want to get those conversations going and just kind of build those networks. Because I see with the quarantine, like if y'all follow Ill Mind, I know that was something that he does. He's just extending himself to people. Like he has kind of similar to like a Patreon, you know, to what he's doing with his beat platform. And it'll be like we doing stuff like this, except y'all paying, I think, like $20 a month. He like listening to y'all beats. To, you know, I'm not saying it is bad enough, but I'm just saying like that's kind of what I'm seeing people like him are doing. So it's just really like, you know, just networking and like finding those avenues, because it's so many, you know. So y'all have any questions or anything else that y'all want me to show y'all before we go? Because I gotta get ready to roll.
No, thank you. That was very informative.
Yeah, I would say definitely keep in touch, and you know, definitely I appreciate y'all for, you know, coming and sticking the hour, and I don't know how long it is. I'm gonna have a video of it. I hope the audio and stuff is straight. I'm gonna cut the stuff off at the beginning, but I'm still learning this stuff, so bear with me. But you can also import it into Pro Tools and like affect the audio as well. So if y'all have any questions, feel free to definitely hit me up, and definitely appreciate y'all for staying and appreciate y'all questions and engagement. Real.
Thank you very much.